Alright, so let me start with this. AI glasses. Are they actually any good? Because I'll be real with you. When I first heard the term, I kinda rolled my eyes. I've seen so many next big thing gadgets come and go, and a lot of them sound way cooler on paper than they are in real life. And honestly, before today, I hadn't even really heard of these specific ones. But right here, in my hands, I've got the Domesti AI glasses. And these are interesting for a very specific reason. They're not trying to be flashy. Not trying to replace your phone. They're more like a quiet introduction to wearable AI, like dipping one foot into the future without fully committing. So first things first, let's clear something up. These do not have a display. No screen, no AR overlay, no floating notifications in front of your eyeballs. And at first, that might sound like a downside, but honestly, it's kind of their biggest strength. Instead of focusing on visuals, these focus entirely on audio-based AI features. We're talking automatic audio recording, real-time transcription, live translation, and an AI assistant that you can talk to through the glasses themselves. The idea is simple. You wear them like normal glasses. You forget you're wearing tech, and when you need help, it's just there. And yeah, you can put your own prescription lenses in them, which is US, or you can use the blue light blocking lenses they come with. That alone makes them feel way more practical than a lot of smart glasses I've tried in the past. These aren't a second pair of glasses you only wear sometimes. These can be your actual, everyday glasses. The build quality also caught me off guard. Titanium frame, about 35 grams. Super lightweight, like actually lightweight. I've worn other smart and AR glasses that feel fine at first, but after 20 or 30 minutes, you start feeling the weight, the heat, the pressure on your nose. These don't do that. They're slim, low profile, and comfortable enough that you could realistically wear them all day without thinking about it. They've got instant AI wake-up, so you're not fighting with them to activate features, and the overall design is clearly meant to blend in, not stand out. So let's open these up, because presentation matters, and I wasn't expecting much here, but I'll admit, the box kinda surprised me. It feels more like opening a jewelry box than a tech product. You lift the lid and it's got that slow, premium feel to it, like something expensive should be inside. And immediately, I'm like, okay, this is already setting a different tone. Inside the box, you've got the glasses case, some accessories, the instruction manual, a charging cable, and a cleaning cloth. The manual is tiny and straightforward, which I appreciate. No massive book, no confusing diagrams, just the basics. The charging cable looks a little strange at first glance, but we'll get into that in a second. The case, though, de case, is nice. It's leather, this really clean blue color that just feels classy for no reason. There's a little bungee strap, a metal nub closure, and suede lining on the inside. It feels like something you'd actually want to carry around, not just throw in a bag and forget about. And when you open it up, there they are. The glasses themselves. And yeah, first reaction. These look like regular glasses. Like, actually, normal glasses. No giant bulges. No thick arms screaming electronics in here. No cameras staring at people. And that's a big deal. I put them on and immediately thought, okay, I could wear these out in public and nobody would think twice. They don't make you look like a cyborg. They don't make you look like you're recording people. They just look clean, professional, even. I'm not gonna lie. When I put them on, I kind of felt like a tech startup CEO or a very important businessman who definitely knows what he's doing. And that's mostly because they don't have a display. Display-based smart glasses still need extra bulk, extra heat management, extra everything. These don't. They stay slim, and that makes all the difference. And once you realize that, the main use case starts to make sense. Imagine going to a meeting, or a college lecture, or a conference. Instead of pulling out your phone, your laptop, or stressing about taking notes, you just wear the glasses. You sit there, you listen, you pay attention. Everything is being recorded. and transcribed quietly in the background. Later on, you go back, read the transcript, check the AI summary, and actually understand what was said instead of trying to decipher messy notes. You took while, half listening. They didn't mention any hard limits on transcription time either, which is interesting. Obviously, that depends on the app and usage. But from a user perspective, it feels pretty open, and comfort-wise, they really do feel like normal glasses. I've worn AR glasses that get hot, heavy, and uncomfortable because they're doing so much all at once. These don't. There's no display pushing heat into your face. There's no heavy processing happening right on your head. They just sit there and do their thing. Charging is also straightforward. The cable snaps on magnetically. Quick disconnect. And the other end is USB-C. No weird proprietary dock that you're guaranteed to lose. For the first time setup, they recommend plugging them in. So I grabbed a little portable battery, plugged them in, and a red light turned on. Something's happening. That's good. Once they're charged, you just open the arms and they power on. That's it. No complicated button combos, no guessing. I already had the app downloaded, so I hit connect, and they paired up right away. Inside the app, you've got AI recording, AI translation, an intelligent assistant, schedule assistant, phone loss, alert, and a user guide. There's also a section for recorded files, recently deleted files, profile settings, device management, security, all the usual stuff. The app layout is clean, not overwhelming, and easy to figure out even if you're not super tech-savvy. So the first thing I wanted to test was the AI recording. You hold the button on the glasses for about 1 second, and that starts recording. I do that, start talking, doing my usual YouTuber ramble about AI glasses and tech reviews. Then I stop the recording, go into the app, tap on the file, and generate the content. And honestly, it works. The transcription is accurate enough that you don't have to fix every other word. It catches the flow of what you're saying, even with casual speech. And then it goes a step further and generates an AI summary. It breaks things down, highlights key points, and even lists action items if there are any. In my case, there weren't any, because I was just talking to myself. But in a real meeting or lecture, that's actually useful. This is one of those features where it doesn't feel flashy, but it feels practical. If you're learning something at work or in school, and you don't want to miss details because you're busy writing things down, this kind of tool makes sense. You can stay present, stay engaged, and deal with the notes later. That alone could be a huge productivity boost for the right person. And the thing that really surprised me is how natural it feels. You're not pulling out a device. You're not changing your behavior. You're just wearing glasses. That's Italiano. And when you're done, the information is already there waiting for you. At T's point, I'm already thinking, okay, I get the appeal. These aren't for everyone, but for the right use case, they make a lot of sense. And we haven't even gotten to the translation feature yet, which is where things start to feel a little futuristic. So I jump into the AI translation section of the app. I set it from Spanish to English. Hit record, and I start playing some Spanish audio. As the audio comes in, the glasses translate it and speak it back to me in English. There's a slight delay, but it's fast enough that you can follow along. And yeah, you hear it through the glasses themselves. Think about that for a second. You're walking through a place where people are speaking a language you don't understand. You tap a button, put your phone in your pocket, and the glasses quietly help you understand what's going on. Travel, school, work, everyday situations. That's actually kind of wild. And because there's no camera and no display, it feels way less invasive than other smart glasses solutions. I've been wearing them for about half an hour at this point. And comfort-wise, they're still solid. Maybe the lenses are a little skinny for my personal taste, since I usually like taller lenses. But that's subjective. They do offer different styles. Overall, though, they look normal. Like, if I walked into a coffee shop wearing these, nobody would think twice. And that's where I think Dynasty made the right call. Instead of trying to wow you with visuals, they focused on making something that actually fits into everyday life. Something you could wear to work, to class, on a trip, without feeling weird about it. And so at this point, having walked you through the recording and translation features, I think it's time we dive into the part that honestly felt the most surreal, in a good way. Because there's another side to these domestic AI glasses that you might not expect, and it's the intelligent assistant. Now, I know what you're thinking. Intelligent assistant, like Siri, like Alexa, like some voice in your head telling you the weather. Well, yeah, kinda like that. But the way it interacts through the glasses actually feels different enough that it deserves its own explanation. So, stick with me. So after testing the recording and translation and being generally impressed at how effortless and hands-off it all felt, I decided to try the intelligent assistant. You basically activate it just like you would start a recording. You press and hold the button on the glasses, and then it starts listening for your command. And the first time it spoke back to me, I'll be honest, I wasn't ready for it. I was standing there in my room, talking to what looked like normal glasses, and then this voice just responded. It wasn't loud. You don't get that booming robot voice in your ear. It's kind of gentle, like someone's whispering helpful suggestions right beside you. So I said, "Hey, intelligent assistant, what can you do?" And the reply was something like, "Hello, I'm the Dimasti intelligent assistant. How can I assist you today?" And the tone was actually pleasant, not robotic in that cold, generic way that you hear from some assistants. It felt almost human, and that honestly threw me off for a second. At first, I started with the obvious stuff. I asked things like, "What's the weather today?" and "Remind me to pack my charger tomorrow morning." Basic stuff, and it did exactly what I asked. But then I decided to push it a little further, because, let's be honest, if you're going to talk to a little AI voice in your glasses, you might as well make it entertaining, right? So I said, "Hey, can you help me write a script for my next YouTube video?" And here's where things got wild. The assistant didn't just give me a canned response. It started asking me questions to clarify what I wanted. "Sure," it said. "What kind of video is it? Who is your audience? What tone are you going for?" It was like having a little creative partner right in my ear. I told it I wanted something humorous, aimed at tech enthusiasts who also like a bit of silly chaos. Let's be real. That's basically every viewer on the internet. At this point, I asked it to include some scenarios about translation, mishaps, and maybe this dramatic all-is-lost moment where I drop the glasses in panic because the AI stops working. And unbelievably, it started drafting this whole narrative framework. Right there. It was wild. Because here I was, talking to these glasses, and the assistant was co-writing a script with me in real time. And it wasn't just simple stuff. It was actually thinking about structure, jokes, pacing, little emotional beats. I swear, for a minute I felt like I was in some futuristic writer's room with a tiny unseen partner. But it wasn't just funny or creative stuff. You can ask this assistant real, practical things too. You can say things like, "Give me a summary of my calendar for today," or "What are the key points from my last meeting recording?" And because it's integrated with the recording and transcription features, it actually can pull that context together. That means you could literally sit in a long meeting, and by the time you leave, you could ask the assistant to give you a concise recap of what was said, without rifling through pages of notes. Now I've got to be honest, at first it feels a little weird, having a voice respond to you in your glasses. That sensation is something you have to get used to. But once you do, it actually starts to feel more like you've got a quiet little helper that's always ready when you need it. And because the glasses don't have a display, you're not bombarded with floating text or visuals that pull your attention away from the real world. It feels supportive but subtle. And that's really the magic of these glasses. They're trying to be helpful, not intrusive. A lot of wearable tech these days goes all in on immersive visuals, like AR stuff that puts graphics in front of your eyes. And yes, that can be cool. But that also means you're literally interrupting your sense of sight. You're raying fake objects over reality. These glasses do something way simpler. They augment your understanding. They help you catch what you heard, remember what you heard, and even help you understand what you're hearing in another language. But you still see the world normally. You're not living in a Tron movie. You're just living your life a bit more clearly. And for certain people, that's a better form of augmented reality. Now let's talk about real-world use cases, because that's where this product goes from cool gadget to legitimate tool. And honestly, some of these use cases surprised me more than I expected. Picture this. You're in a college lecture. The professor is going 100 miles an hour. You're trying to jot down notes, but you're missing things. You're stressed. And you know you AV to rewatch a recording later to truly understand it. With these glasses, you just wear them. No fumbling with your phone. No worrying about battery life on your laptop. They quietly capture and transcribe everything. On the way home, you can ask the assistant, summarize the key points from today's lecture. Boom. Done. And because the transcription is tied into the AI summary, you'll get bullet points that actually make sense. Or think about travel. You go to another country where you don't speak the language. You're walking around, listening to people chat, and suddenly you can just hit the translation button and start understanding what people are saying. It's not perfect. There's a slight delay, and sometimes contextual nuance gets lost. But for basic conversational understanding or getting your bearings, datese, uge. You don't have to hold up your phone, try to find a hotspot, or hunt for a translator app that's constantly switching back and forth between screens. It's all audio-based, and it's happening while you live your life normally. And then there's productivity. Let's say you're in a meeting, multiple people talking, ideas flying around. Some people talk quietly, some interrupt. And later you're trying to piece together what happened. The glasses capture everything. And then when you're done, you ask the assistant, what were the 3 main decisions from the meeting? Or what questions were raised about the new project timeline? And you get a real answer. Not a rough guess from something you scribbled on a napkin. For someone who works in management, consulting, education, counseling, journalism, honestly, any role that involves listening carefully and remembering details, this is a game changer. But it's not just hardcore productivity stuff. There's also the everyday convenience, like when you walk out of the house and say, "Did I lock the back door?" And you ask the assistant, "Remind me to check if I lock the door when I get back." It sets the reminder without ever touching your phone. Or when you want a grocery list, you just say, "Add milk, eggs, and bread to my grocery list, and it dos italiano." And because those reminders and lists sync in the app, you can check them later on your phone if you want, but you don't have to. And another thing to note is how natural it feels, because the glasses aren't trying to beam graphics into your field of view. You're not wearing a constant distraction. There's no screen grab feeling. You're just wearing glasses that help you interact with information in a different way. It's subtle, and that's exactly what makes it powerful for everyday use. Now, let's talk about the experience of wearing them, because comfort matters. I've worn other smart glasses and AR glasses, and after a while, you forget you're wearing them. But then you start to feel the weight, or they get warm, or the temple pieces press into your head in weird ways. They're genuinely comfortable. The titanium frame keeps them light. The styling isn't over-the-top futuristic. They look like a normal, classy pair of glasses. Even people who see them up close don't instantly think, "Oh wow, that's smart tech." They just think, nice glasses. And that's honestly a massive win. Because a product like this only works if you're comfortable wearing it. If it makes you look awkward or if it buzzes or heats up, you're not going to use it every day. But these, I could see myself actually putting them on in the morning and leaving them there until bedtime. Another surprising thing, the battery life is respectable. Now, I'm not saying you're going to go on a cross-country trip without charging it, but for a full day of meetings, classes, or travel, it holds up. Because there's no power-hungry display. The draw is mostly for the AI processing and the audio features. And the way they balanced, that feels practical. You're not constantly hunting for a charging cable. And when you do charge them, it's simple. That magnetic connector snaps on. You plug the USB-C into any charger or portable battery, and you're good. No annoying docking stations or proprietary plugs that you lose after 3 days. Now, look, I know some of you might be thinking, okay, but how accurate is the transcription? How good is the translation? Does the assistant really understand me? And the honest answer is, it's good, not perfect. There are times when it'll miss a word here or there, especially in noisy environments. Translation sometimes struggles with slang or very rapid speakers, and the assistant might occasionally ask you to clarify what you mean. But that's honestly true of most AI assistants today. The key point is this. For everyday use,